If your company is already paying for AI, there's a role sitting completely open right now. Somebody needs to connect the tools your company bought to the work that people are actually doing. A study published by Deloitte found that 93% of an organization's AI budget goes towards technology investment, while only 7% goes towards people and processes. PwC surveyed more than 4,400 CEOs, and 56% said that AI had produced no significant financial benefit for their company. Only 12% reported both lower costs and higher revenue. 2026 Zapier survey found that nearly 37% of employees either didn't think about the cost of their AI usage or they didn't even know it had a price tag. Companies have tools and leadership expects results. So employees like yourself are experimenting. Somebody still has to connect all of that. If you're watching this video, it's likely because you think that person could be you. In this video, I'm going to show you what the AI operator inside a company actually does and how you can start becoming that person this week. My name is Ash Behrens. I'm an AI transformation partner, and I've been working for years in the corporate space, identifying automation opportunities to make businesses and their practices more streamlined. I've worked across a multitude of industries, and now I'm working in the corporate environment for a tech company, and I'm going to show you how I've created measurable improvements in the workforce using AI. You don't need to begin by building a super advanced agent. You don't need to know every single AI tool. You just need to take one piece of recurring work and move it through 3 levels. Assist, optimize, and transform. I also created one copy and paste AI skill for each level. You can download all 3 from the pinned comment and use them in Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or whichever approved AI assistant your company uses. The AI operator is the operator who turns scattered experiments into a repeatable way of working. They ask practical questions. Which work consumes the most amount of time? Where does the information typically wait? Where does it get copied or get lost? Which model and context does this task actually require? Who is reviewing the result? What changed after we introduced AI? That last question matters because a faster draft may feel productive, but only a truly streamlined workflow produces an actual measurable business result. In the AI automation work I do, I see companies use AI super heavily for emails, summaries, research, and document drafting. Those uses can definitely help, but they also leave most of the underlying processes untouched. The AI operator learns how to start with assistance and then keeps going. So level 1 is assist. Assist means using AI to help one person complete a well-defined task more consistently. Imagine you spend 45 minutes every Friday turning rough project notes into an executive status update. The format is always similar: progress, risks, decisions needed, next steps, etc. That's a reasonable first use case for AI automation. So start by documenting. Trigger, input, output, standard, and human review. What triggers the task? What information goes into the AI? What should come out? What does a good result look like? What does the employee still need to review? Then create a reusable skill. And instead of starting a new conversation from scratch every Friday, you have something that you can use over and over again. The prompt should define the AI's role, the task, the approved input, the output format, the constraints, and the quality checklist. Run it against 3 real redacted examples. Compare the result to your existing process and measure how much review time actually remains. This gives you a small win and the beginning of a prompt bank that you and your team can actually start using. The first download in the starter kit is a personal AI opportunity mapper. It interviews you about your role, your ranks, and your recurring tasks, and creates prompts for the 3 best places to start. Level 2 is optimize. Once the task works, optimize how it uses AI. Here's a pattern that I see pretty consistently. Someone opens a new chat on Claude, uploads 6 files, pastes a super long explanation, adds 2 old examples, asks a premium model to complete a fairly predictable task. They repeat that same setup the following week, and then context grows, your relevant instructions compete with outdated or duplicated material, your latency increases, your token usage climbs, and then the quality may become less consistent because the model has to sort through material that doesn't really belong in the task. Optimize this process by separating context into 5 buckets. Always, relevant, example, remove, and sensitive. Always. Consistent instructions should be required every time. Relevant, where reference material only is retrieved when it is actually relevant. Example, one compact demonstration of a good result. Remove, duplicated, obsolete, or irrelevant material. Sensitive, information that stays out of an unapproved AI environment. Then test the model fit. A specific structured extraction task may work well on a smaller model, and a messy, high judgment decision may require more capability. Let a quality decision test make that decision. Then you'll want to measure that accuracy. Format your compliance, latency, usage costs when available, and human review time. A cheaper, more token-efficient answer that creates twice as much review work is just not an improvement. The second starter kit download is an AI usage and context auditor. You give it one recurring AI task, it interviews you about the prompt, the model, files, repeated context, failures, and costs, and then it produces a much leaner prompt, a context plan, and then a 5-case test. Level 3 is transform. Transform means changing how the work moves. So consider a sales call. A sales rep finishes a conversation, has to write notes, updates the CRM, drafts a follow-up email, schedules the next step, and then tells a manager what happened. This is a perfect example of a process that can be automated for someone to focus more on the core of their job. In this case, for a sales rep, that's client relationships. The completed call triggers a transcript download, AI extracts the approved CRM fields, and drafts the follow-up. Then deterministic automation places the information in the correct systems. The rep reviews and approves the CRM, and then email, and then exceptions are flagged. The rep actually gets to spend time checking the judgment and communicating with the client. Thing is that this requires a current state map before anyone selects a tool. So walk through the most recent real example from beginning to end. Write down every person, system, handoff, delay, correction, and approval. Then classify each step. Eliminate, simplify, standardize, assist, automate, and then human control. Eliminate work that no longer needs to exist. Simplify unnecessary complexity, standardize the inputs, use deterministic automation for clear rules, use AI where interpretation or generation adds value, and then keep human approval around for consequential decisions. The third starter kit download is a workflow redesign architect. It interviews you one question at a time, maps the current workflow, and then produces a pilot brief with owners, controls, integrations, and success measures. So your first assignment, how can you actually take this information and do something with it? Well, this is going to be your assignment for the week. Choose one recurring workflow and keep it narrow enough that you can explain the entire process in basically 5 minutes. Some good examples may include turning meeting notes into assigned actions, preparing a weekly client or executive update, moving information from a completed sales call into a CRM, comparing recurring documents against the defined standard, or reconciling structured inputs and routing only the exceptions to a person. Then follow these 6 steps. Step 1, use an agentic workspace. If you have access to ChatGPT work or Claude Cowork on the desktop, these environments can work with approved folders, files, connected apps, and longer multi-step tasks. Plain chat can help you think through these processes. Work or Cowork can help you create the files, templates, skills, and repeatable tasks that make the process real. Availability varies by plan and workspace policy, so use whichever agentic environment your company has approved. Unfortunately, Gemini is not quite there yet with a work platform like Claude or ChatGPT in this sense, so you'll have to stick to one of these two in this sense. Step 2 is to give it a dedicated working folder. So create a folder in your computer containing only the material required for this workflow. Use copies while testing. Don't give the agent access to your entire desktop, your inbox, shared drive, or company file system just yet. Start with read-only access wherever possible. Close any sort of sensitive applications, remove credentials, personal data, regulated information, and unrelated company files. This is just going to save you for having to deal with potential compliance concerns in the future. Step 3 is to load the skill that actually matches your stage. Going back to the assist, optimize, and transform skills that you'll have available, use the personal AI opportunity mapper when you don't know where to begin. Then let AI use the AI usage and context auditor when your team already uses AI, but the prompts, files, models, and the results may be inconsistent. Or use the workflow redesign architect when the AI task works, but people still copy, reformat, route, and approve everything manually. Upload or paste the skill into Work or Cowork. Let it interview you one question at a time. Next step is to build the smallest working version. Use one workflow, one owner, one approved folder, and 3 representative test cases. Ask Work or Cowork to create the approved assets inside that folder. Those assets might be a prompt, template, a standard input form, a checklist, a file processing routine, a project instruction, a skill, or a scheduled task. Keep approval gates around sending messages, publishing content, updating systems of record, deleting files, overwriting source material, and any sort of consequential decisions. Next step is to measure it before you actually scale it. So capture the baseline first. How much labor time does the workflow require? How long does it wait? How often does it need correction? How much human review remains? What does the AI usage cost when the information is actually available? Run the new version on the same 3 test cases. Keep it only if it improves the outcome without creating unacceptable risk or more review work. And document the baseline before any changing happens. That is when you turn an AI experiment into something that your manager can understand and your team can repeat. I put the 3 skills in the pinned comments and in the video bio: the personal AI opportunity mapper for Assist, the AI usage and context auditor for Optimize, and the workflow redesign architect for Transform. Download the one that matches where you are, paste or upload it into your approved AI assistant, and it'll walk you through the process 1 question at a time. I also linked the AI burn rate quiz that will help you identify where your organization may be losing money, time, or control across its AI usage. You don't need to wait for someone to give you the title of AI operator. Just start with one workflow, measure it, improve it, and show your team what changed. That is how you become the AI operator at your company. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like and a comment. I'll be posting more potential videos in the future about the specific workflows and actually how to update these systems yourself.